today. Welcome back to Mama's Kitchen. Today I'm going to be sharing my recipe for fried meat stew. This stew is very delicious. Whenever I make it, it's tasty. So I want to show you the things I used in making this my one-in-town stew. So here I have some tomatoes. This is combination of tomatoes, bell pepper, habanero pepper, onions, garlic, and ginger. So I boiled them and I blended them and then I boiled them down. This, when I blended it was like 3 of these bowls, but when I boiled it down, it's just one that I have. So it means I really boiled it. You have to boil it till there's no more water in it. That's how you can get your stew nice. And here in this bowl I have my fried meat. You can see how dried it is. It's still burnt, but it's just very, very dry. So I always fry my meat with whole onions. I throw these onions in the oil when I'm frying my meat, and I also put in some chunk of ginger just to fry my meat and flavor the meat. The meat was seasoned before I fried it. I seasoned it with salt, habanero pepper, garlic, and onions before I now fried it up. So I'm going to be using some vegetable oil, and because I have a lot of oil, I have some oil inside this already, I'm not going to use too much of oil. So just a little bit of vegetable oil. I'm going to be using my Knorr powder. Guys, you need to use this. This is really good when it comes to stew, but don't put too much of it. It's a seasoner at the same time a food color. So it will give your stew a very red color, and then it will season it. So don't put too much because you also need some Knorr cubes. So when you put this, just put a little bit of this. I'm going to be using some salt. I'm going to be using some curry powder. I'm going to be using nutmeg. I'm going to use thyme. And finally, let me show you this. I'm going to use Bayleave. Bayleave, I know people exclusively use it for jollof rice, but I use it for my stew. I just don't put too much because you know when you put too much Bayleave, the stew will taste bitter. So just put 1 or even half of this, not too much. When your stew is getting boiled, you just throw it inside it and let it cook with it. And when it's done, you can just take it out if you want to. If you don't mind, you can leave it in there. So are you ready? So if you're ready, let's get into the kitchen and make it happen. Come on guys, let's go. So guys, I put some oil in the pot, and when it's hot, I put my boiled tomatoes. Remember, this tomatoes paste has been boiled to remove all the water. So you fry it in the pot, make sure you fry it very well, and I always leave my heat low because you don't want it burnt. So you fry it for like 20-25 minutes, just to make it very dry. You need that dryness to get the type of stew that I'm talking about. So you fry it very dry. Let it fry as long as it can get dry. You can see it. You will see that it's dry when it gets to that stage. You see a lot of oil, which shows it's dry. And then I added my thyme, and I'm going to add my nutmeg next. Please excuse my hand. I'm videoing this by myself, so it's a lot of work trying to get this together. So I'm going to add my nutmeg now. Nutmeg gives this stew a special taste, guys. You need to try it with nutmeg. Don't put too much, just a little bit. Now I'm putting my curry powder. You can see the quantity I'm using for that quantity of tomatoes. And I'm putting my Knorr cube. I always crush my Knorr cube in the pack before I pour it in. So it's easier for you. Instead of throwing it and melting it, you can just crush it up and then pour it. And there it goes, my salt, and finally I have added my Knorr tomato paste. Then I turn it very well. You need to turn it at this point and make sure your stove is on low heat. And you still need to fry it a little bit more. If you really want the fried sauce, then you have to take time to fry it. And right after that, I have added my fried meat. You see how dry that meat is. The stew is going to absorb. The meat is going to absorb the stew and get a little bit softened, but not too softened. And finally, I'm adding my meat stock. So guys, this is how I make my fried meat sauce. It's very simple. Now you throw in your bay leaf if you want to, but that's the secret of my stew. Bay leaf must come into my fried meat stew. So that's it. That's how you make your fried meat stew. You can serve it with rice. You can serve it with spaghetti. You can eat it with anything. And that's how I make my my meat sauce. Thank you guys for watching me today. I truly appreciate you all. Please, if you have not subscribed, can you subscribe to me, please? And like, share, and comment. Thank you so much. Have a good evening. Bon appetit, and see you later.